2, 1. Boom. We're live.
Live, baby.
We are live. Chris couldn't join.
We're missing the bear.
Missing the bear. Chris couldn't join because he was in Australia trying to figure out if Carlos was lying about these Enphase installers.
I'm down under, mate.
Bro, Australians have the best accent. Like the best accent.
They do. I had my Siri and my navigation that voice for a while.
Really?
Yeah, when they yell at you, it doesn't seem as bad when like an Australian woman's yelling at you.
Did I don't you guys probably didn't see this, but Chris sent me a picture. He's up $10,000 on Meta calls.
I guess I'm up something too. Then I don't know. I didn't look.
How
many calls did he have?
25 contracts.
Oh, 25 contracts. Oh,
yeah,
he put 70 grand, $28. There we go.
No. I mean, what price was the $100 strike? What was it? I can't see over there.
I think it's one set. It might be 200.
Yeah. Well, if he was long Enphase, he'd be up hundreds of thousands.
That's true. Before we get started, what do you guys think about the World Cup or the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl.
Do you care at all about soccer, Carlos? Or?
Not really. I mean, I catch a little bit of it. I like the community aspect of it, but no, I don't really.
Well, the problem is me and Carlos are from Brooklyn, and sports were just not the biggest of things in Brooklyn. It was more about music, actually. Well, music,
yeah.
Yeah, so we cared more about that than we did about sports. That's why we're out of shape.
But can play a mean guitar
and drums.
Yep. Yeah, I caught like the last 20 minutes of the game, but it was nice. It was cool. Messi finally getting his World Cup. It was
I was watching. He did like there was a nice little speech that he did. My wife was showing it to me earlier. Well, he's retiring. He's not playing anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, he said he's retiring. I didn't even know that.
Something like that. She was showing me something on. I was on
TikTok. Oh, it's his last. It's his last game. I know that.
Last World Cup.
Every 4 years, the World Cup. So I think this is his last World Cup. I don't know if he's retiring, but it's his last World Cup.
Yeah, he won't play in the next 4 years.
Yeah. Well, he's 35. So Ronaldo was 38, I think.
Well, that's it. That's it. In those games, man. In your 30s,
a young man's game, man.
That's it. It's over. Anyway, I'm already bored of this conversation.
It's like we try to talk about something relevant.
I just
don't care.
Okay, so let's talk about Elon. That's the title of this. Carlos, you've been out all day, so I don't know if you've seen everything that's been going on, but me and Vitaly have been hawking it on Twitter. Apparently, Elon, Twitter tweets this policy out today, saying that if you tweet any external links to your Instagram profile, Mastodon, which is this new Twitter competitor, Facebook, whatever, you're going to get suspended. They're like, we are not allowing the free promotion of your account handles. Now it's weird because like they're like you can still tweet out YouTube links and stuff like that, but you can't tweet out your profile. And some people are saying, well, this is smart business because like technically this is what Instagram does, like and TikTok. Like if you say link in bio, they have AI that recognizes that we should give this post a little bit less promotion because it's going to drive people off the platform. So every platform does it. It's just Twitter is one of those platforms where it's built to promote. Like the whole thing is like put your link there, so it's really awkward. Second of all, you've got Elon saying free speech, and now they're obviously doing this very explicit censoring. So there's some people that are saying it's good. Other people saying this is totally BS. This is going to hurt a lot of people. Then 5 hours later, Elon gets so much backlash. They reverse the whole decision.
Oh, that's sorry.
It's already gone.
It's already gone.
It's already gone.
Done.
It's already gone. So they're basically like now he's like now next time I make the decision for a policy, I will tell you guys. I'll put a Twitter poll so you guys will have to vote with me. Yeah. And then he puts another poll an hour later. He says, "Should I be removed from Twitter?" And let me see if I can bring it up.
I voted.
You think so?
Why'd you vote yes, Vital? Because I voted no. So why'd you vote yes?
No, he didn't say removed. He said, should he get another CEO, right? And
step down.
Well, why shouldn't he step down? He could still run it from the side. Just don't be so prevalent in everybody's face.
It doesn't make sense. Why would he step down and still run it from the side? Like that, I don't know. That doesn't.
Well, for example,
you're all in.
You don't know what his role would be.
The chairman is in charge. The chairman is in charge. He'd still be the chairman of the board. That's still going to be the case. And he sets the policy for Twitter. and then some guy executes it. And if actually Lex Friedman said he was willing to do it. Did you see that tweet?
Yes, I did.
Lex Freeman would be a great sort of
Terrible business guy.
What, you think he'd be terrible?
I think it'd be interesting. I think it'd be very interesting, but I think he'd be terrible.
I mean, do you watch his podcast? Do you watch any of his
so he has a podcast, so he's going to be a good CEO?
No, I'm saying, but you get an idea of who he is watching his podcast.
I invested in a Mitt here. Great CEO right here.
I'm saying that if you watch his podcast, you get a feel for the type of person he is, and you get a real idea of, there's hours of him out there. You get a real sense for how he thinks and what
he's a business guy.
Do.
He's not a business guy. No, absolutely not. He's been in fact, I used to follow him. I used to take his courses at MIT. I think it was MIT. He has free courses that you can watch on machine learning. He's a professor. He's a very smart and intelligent guy. He can teach you that in a very slow, methodical way, but no way he meant to run a $44 billion business. Absolutely not.
I'd agree. I mean, it's not easy to talk to someone for 3 hours and ask deep questions. It's hard, but it's easier than running a platform that has 300 million.
But it's more about being the arbiter of free speech. Who do you nominate into that position? The incredibly impossible task of running Twitter in that sense.
I'd rather have Elon doing it.
Personally, I agree. I don't think there's anyone better to be the arbiter of free speech. It's a thankless, tough job. No matter what you do, half the country's going to hate you. Probably half the world's going to hate you. But I can't think of anybody else that I would put in that place. Sure,
arbiter of free speech sounds really nice, but before that happens, he has to make some fucking money. And if he doesn't make any fucking money,
I think it sounds funny to keep saying that, like, oh, fuck free speech.
What are you talking about? They're going down.
Don't make money. Like
Twitter itself.
Hold on.
These things, a lot of people.
Hold on. These things are really important. You know, back in the day, in order to fight for free speech, people had to get up on a hill and shoot each other and die. Like now, this is the public town square. And I know it's like everybody's losing money on Tesla stock. Everyone's saying Elon should get out and go back to making cars. And it sounds like it's funny, and that's the bandwagon everyone's on. But this shit is really important. You know what I mean?
I disagree. Twitter's,
I know you disagree, but I'm saying, like, it's just like I am kind of personally sick of hearing that viewpoint of like Elon needs to get back to making cars, and like there are some things that are more important than that. You have children. You want the world to be a certain place, a certain way for your children. I just don't understand why everyone is just piling on him, expecting him to do what they want him to do because their portfolio's down. It's like,
I'm going to bring up something in a minute, but go ahead, continue, guys. I'm going to bring up something.
I mean, that's literally it. It's like the founding fathers, you know, felt like this was so important that they made it the first in the Constitution. Like they knew what they were doing. They knew that the people in power would do whatever possible to maintain and erode the freedoms of the people. So I feel like this is actually a really important thing that needs to be done right now. I'm not saying it's not a distraction from Tesla, but he's got some of the best people in the world running the company while he's not there. He's not always at SpaceX either, you know. He's not always at Boring Company. He's not always at Neuralink. I think the guy that's built these companies, we should trust him that he knows how to manage his time, right? That's just what I say. I don't think anyone can come in here now and tell him what to do with his money or with his time.
So, Vitaly, why don't you think any of this matters?
Because we're all down. We're all down a lot of money.
No, actually not that. In fact, if you ask me right now, is Tesla getting more interesting to purchase? It's absolutely the time for people to DCA, like right now, and it could go lower. It could totally hit $100, whatever. Because if the market does collapse further, and we can talk why, discussing the Fed funds rate and all of that, but the market does go lower, Tesla can go way lower as well. But if you think about the bull case, let me just go about why I don't really care. Do you guys hear me? Just want to make sure.
Yep, you're good.
If it's going down, I don't really care because my price target was not even hit, so I'm not really selling. So if I'm not really selling, I think it's okay for the stock to go down. Just like I think Enphase should go down too, and I would buy more at that point. So I have a lot of Enphase and a lot of Tesla, but if they go down and they give me another opportunity, I would buy it. And it's getting more interesting. So all these bears coming out saying it's getting worse, I think they're totally wrong. As it goes down, it gets actually more attractive to a lot of people, at least smart people. Okay, so having said that, the Twitter part was funny because he is wasting his time. And the town square, 300 million, how many people are on town square, in this town square?
350 million.
300 of the most biggest assholes that as far as I can tell, on the internet are on Twitter right now. Not great people, okay? As Donald Trump would say, these aren't the best people, okay?
There's great people on both sides.
I'm just saying, these aren't the best people. I read a lot of Twitter shit, and these aren't the best people, okay?
But Twitter's also the place.
You had your 5 minutes. You had your 5 minutes. Now, just hold on a minute. And basically, Twitter has 300 million people. I look at Facebook. They have 3 billion people. Isn't the town square Facebook? I mean, but that's number one. Okay, number two, Elon today, and I was actually tracking with him his comments. He had a comment from somebody who says, "Hey, I'm being shadow banned, Elon, and blah blah blah. Can you look into this?" And Elon responds, "Yes, I will look into it." The richest guy trying to get us to Mars is now cleaning toilets, basically, for somebody.
Do you really think
that's true?
This is what is going on right now.
Wait. Do you really think he's doing that? You really think that Elon's stopping what he's doing? He looking into it means
time to respond to
he has someone looking at his saying, handle this.
I'm not saying he didn't go to somebody else to handle it, but
all right. So then where's the equivalent of him cleaning toilets? He's got assistants. He has minions that do his bidding. What's the issue?
He still has to go. He gets a notification. He takes 5 seconds to respond. Me and you, it doesn't matter. We're not doing anything. We're on the internet talking smack.
Okay.
But this guy is actually doing important shit. And I feel, and in fact, Chamath Palihapitiya, he could be an asshole, but he said some interesting things in his last podcast. If you heard the whole podcast,
All In podcast was really good.
And he goes, look, people have around 16 hours in a day to be productive. Let's say family, let's say eating, let's say all this. So we have around 12 hours, maybe 11 hours to be productive. This is his thing, not mine. Chamath Palihapitiya.
It's Chamath Palihapitiya. It's Palihapitiya.
Yeah, I know. Chamath Palihapitiya. Okay, so he said basically, okay,
you're racist.
I'm not racist. I'm just saying it wrong. Dude, that's ridiculous. Racist. I'm hanging out with two guys that aren't white here, and I'm racist? What the F? Okay, I'm progressive.
You gotta say it. I'm the least racist person. I'm the least racist person you'll ever meet. I hate everybody.
Everybody's a dick. Okay, but he said on the pod, he basically says, here's a guy who has trying to get us to Mars, changing the EV industry, and now he's dealing with basically social media. So my point is the 12 hours in a day that he can be productive, now maybe, let's say 30 minutes is spent cleaning toilets at Twitter. That's all I'm saying. Oh, get out of here.
That's what you don't want. Here's my point, though. Okay, even
that is true. By the way, that is not cool. This guy should be banned forever.
That could get you banned, right? Right. You got.
We're not Elon. We don't ban people for no reason. Okay, go ahead, Carlos.
My point is, even Chamath Palihapitiya. We just gotta say it wrong every time now. Okay?
We got to make sure Vitaly doesn't seem racist.
Even Chamath. Here's the difference, and I don't know. I think Vitaly and I were talking about this. Elon Musk is a guy who had $110 million when he from the sale of PayPal, and instead of going off on vacation like any of us would have done, he decided to start 2 really difficult companies, and starting both of them, either one of them could have failed, right? Because he was like, I really got to focus on one, but he made it work. This is a guy that is not motivated by the same things that people like you and me are. Even a guy like Chamath, he's a VC guy. He throws money. Palumpa Loompa guy is only he's just giving money to people. Chamath gives money to the people that actually do the shit. He's not doing anything. And so I think trying to apply our motivations or intentions on someone like Elon, it's not going to work. The guy has clearly said that this is something that he finds important, and he's getting the same shit for this that he did when he was saying, I really think we need to move the planet to sustainable energy. It's climate change is
Carlos, one point, does he really think it's that important, or did the judge in Delaware force him?
The judge in Delaware forced him. He was trying to get out of it. Okay, he was trying
Listen, I think that just to even make the offer, I think he really felt that it was important.
I think he was high, bro. He was probably fucking high.
Maybe he was on some DMT. Who the fuck knows?
Listen, he offered 54.20. Okay. I mean,
he was definitely on some green bean.
My point is, he was fucking around and he made it real and didn't do the due diligence for this company, and now he got stuck. And the judge made him buy it. Okay, he had no choice. At the end of the day, he just had no choice because he was trying to delay and postpone and get out of it.
Right, but if he really wanted to, after he brought the kitchen sink in, he could have left.
No, you cannot. No one's going to buy it for 15.
No, I'm saying he could have put somebody in place and said, "Here's the kitchen sink. I got my meme. I'm out." I'm not going to run this thing. I'm going to go back and focus on Tesla.
No.
Is
What he
that the
tweeted
most
today is that
important
it's
thing right
not hard to find a CEO. It's hard to find a CEO that can keep Twitter alive. I mean, that's his big thing. Is just like, who the fuck is gonna? Because he's 13 billion in debt. He just had to pay 4 billion. He sold 4 billion worth of 3.5 billion worth of stock to pay off the margin. Like, this is getting really. I don't have a big Tesla position, but are you guys scared at all that this thing could
Tesla, no.
collapse another
No.
50%?
No,
because
and
of what's going
I
on?
think what you're seeing is financial warfare. I think obviously the people that are holding the Tesla. Look, there was a stat the other day that said Tesla stock when it crossed under $500 billion market cap was almost even. It was 45% retail investors, 45% institutions, and like 10% insider. So right now we're like at that buoy point. These institutions keep selling. They're just pushing. They're forcing the hand of the retail investors. How convicted are you really? Because they've got infinite money and they have more time. I really think it's a financial warfare, knowing that Twitter's bleeding money, getting him to sell more shares than he needs to keep it afloat. You just keep the price down and
So
get him to sell.
Aren't you
shares.
scared it's gonna drop another 50%? Like,
If Tesla drops another 50%,
Okay.
yeah.
This is back to long-term investing.
long-term investing.
If you held any stock, if you held Google back in the day, it dropped 50%.
Well, no, but here's my
Amazon
question.
Tech
Here's my-
90%.
Amazon dropped 90%, and we did a video just now about it.
Okay, hold on. This is not the dot-com bubble. This is different. Like, if Tesla falls 50%, that would be a 250 billion. Hold on, a $250 billion market cap.
Right.
For it then to get to $1 trillion again, and we're talking about a 4 trillion from 1 trillion where it was used to be. Like,
Right.
that's a lot of value that has to be created again. Almost everything from COVID.
No.
The value wouldn't need to be created. The value is already there.
Once again, you're mistaking the stock price for the actual company.
I know.
But my point is,
Does this,
hold on. But the company is losing market capitalization because of whatever the hell is going on, the macro, Fed funds rates, Elon, Twitter. That still has to be made up. And let's say they miss a quarter, or let's say the quarter is not as impressive as it was
It
before.
probably won't be Q4. Yeah.
Or even.
Although I was reading that
quarters
they're going to breach some records in Q4. I should send you. I should.
I mean, maybe if that happens, but my assumption that Q4 will be profitable.
Listen to what I'm saying. It's going to be more competitive, more harder. Margins are going to get impressed. A recession's coming. Demand destruction is going to happen for the Tesla at some level, even if it's not a lot. There are so many factors on
how
this
much
stock.
you just said just now. Like what?
No. You're
Wait, hold on. Don't give me this bullshit. You think in 2023, when there's a recession, people can
do you
shell out
mean-
50
how do you
grand
mean
for a car? People can spend 50 grand for a car when there's a recession. You think that's normal?
They will, by the way, because the people buying the cars are people like me who can afford a Tesla car.
Yeah,
We're not,
but Vitaly,
not
you
willing-
are not the average American. That is not.
You know how many people there are like that?
yeah,
though?
American dude. He's not selling 60.
You know how many of them already have
Yeah,
a Tesla,
American.
or they would want a Mercedes, or they would want something else?
He's not selling a $60,000, $70,000 plus car to some average American at this point. And I hear some echoing, by the way, Carlos. I'm not
I think
sure.
that, let me mute Carlos and see if it's the same. Go ahead, talk, Vitaly.
Oh, hello. Yeah, it's
That was your Carlos. Yeah,
it's because he doesn't have headphones. Okay, so anyway, most people right now, even though they're selling 1.4 million cars, you got to think about the people buying those cars. And I'm not saying they won't sell less, meaning that we're not going to get the 50% compounded in Q4 and Q1. I think it's possible it's not that anymore. I think it's possible we drop to 40% or 35% compounded, and that's why the stock will tank. So I agree with you there. But that's because, like, you're right, a recession will matter. It's not that a recession doesn't matter, but what happens to everybody else in that recession? You're just thinking about Tesla. What happens to Rivian in that recession? What happens to GM with their shitty fucking cars? What happens to Ford with their cars? All the other manufacturers who already are teetering on bankruptcy end up going bankrupt or asking the government for a bailout. Hold on. Tesla,
You think
it's not anywhere near, hold on. Tesla itself is not anywhere near bankruptcy at all.
I didn't say they were.
I know, but hold on. Every other company is. So what happens to the market share of Tesla when every other company cannot survive a recession? Okay. What happens to when NIO cannot sell enough cars because it's a recession? Do you know what I'm saying? All these other EV plays. Then Tesla becomes once again.
I have no idea what this argument has to do with Tesla falling. All of them will fall in market cap. Okay?
That's right.
But then what's your fucking point?
When Rivian falls in market cap, they need to dilute shareholders by selling stock into the market. Tesla's not doing that. They're trying to buy back stock. So you're thinking about different things.
Wait, how do you know they're trying to buy back stock?
They're trying to buy $10 billion back.
No, they're not. Gary Black is just screaming about it, but Tesla has not said a fucking word about buying.
No, Elon in Q3.
There's going to be a $10 billion buyback next
year. Q3, I don't know if he's going to do it 100%, but he said in Q3 we're trying to work it out We need to discuss with the board. He said this in Q3. I'm not making this up.
Didn't they already ask for permission the last meeting? Didn't they already ask and get
No,
clearance
we
to
didn't
do
hear
it the
about what
last
the
one?
board. We didn't hear what the board has decided yet. Blah blah blah. But Elon's in charge of that at the end of the day. So if he wants it, he gets it. If he
My
thinks
point. Okay, here's my point. Let's say, for the argument's sake, Tesla gets down to $100. That would take off another $100 billion off the market cap, something like that. I might be wrong on the number,
Sure.
but it's going to be a lot. If that's the case, Tesla goes to like a $300 billion company.
possible.
For them to get back to $1 trillion, it's almost like when you're fat, right? When you're 200 pounds, it's easy to get down to 170 because you have so much fat. When you're going from 170 to 130, it's a lot harder.
What do you got
right?
against people? Everybody in the comments, knock him down.
Right now, you gotta. He's fat shaming right now.
I'm fat shaming that.
Amit's
That's not
fucking
even.
fat
I didn't even
shaming.
say. That's just like an art. Okay, whatever.
But you kind of did.
I'm 165. What are you trying to say?
So my point. You're actually 165.
Sometimes 162. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Oh wow. All right. So that's my point.
What does it mean?
Pretty bad.
I
I'm just
know.
saying. It's pretty big. Or something. So what I'm saying here is, if you're at 250 or 300 billion, and you're putting up all these numbers, you're at the PE, you're putting up 21 billion in revenue. You have to do that. You have to beat those numbers. Like, it's harder to beat those numbers every year. That's why big tech companies stop
but
growing at
what-
40%.
It's easier
They go down.
No. And
It
the
becomes easier.
There's a reason Google's not growing at 500 billion in
Google
revenue every
for
month.
20 years. You
No,
can't.
they're
do this.
That's what I'm saying.
but
You
they don't.
can't
They don't
continue to
grow
grow.
30% every year anymore.
No. Okay.
That's
So
my point.
you're. I'm actually agreeing with you that a recession could have people buy less cars, and maybe they don't hit the 50% compounded. I agree with you there. That's where the problem is. They were priced for perfection to hit 50% compounded. But
So
Google,
what justifies the 300 billion back to 800 billion is my question. If Tesla falls to
because
$100,
once 2023 rolls out the window and the Fed does ease monetary policy, which will happen, it will
yeah, but
happen.
that's not going to happen for another
And-
18 to 24 months.
on,
Yeah,
Joel,
okay, that's
and-
fine. So you're saying in 2 years I get my 4x? I don't know. What are you saying here?
No, in 2 years, the macro finally gets better. So
Okay.
maybe that
3
100
years to get my
going up.
4x?
It's not going to go 4x in 1 year, Vitaly. That's
No,
it's not
first of all,
2020.
it's very possible it will. By the way, because if the cash
How?
was okay,
because it's so beaten down, and you understand,
Guys,
Cybertruck comes.
hold on. I'm
Guys,
trying to be a little bit. Hold on. You got to be a little bit realistic. The reason it
we
went
are being
20x,
realistic.
the reason it went 20x in 2020 was because there was $7 trillion of liquidity that was flushed into the market, and interest rates were -0. You cannot, with a logical mind, say you can just do that again in 2 years.
Okay, first of all, the reason it went
Especially when it's harder to grow.
the reason it went 10x. See, I think you're
There's
conflating
a
your
lot of
things. The reason it went 20x was the additional printing of money. But the reason it went there, the first 10x was not the printing of money, was because their cash flows went from negative to massive free cash flow.
Exactly. So
In
that
January.
catalyst is not going to be there. They have to grow massively against the 50% target range you're talking about for them to justify that growth.
So hold on. If Wall Street, right? I'm just going to ask you a question. If Wall Street is
By
planning,
the way, I'm a Tesla bull. I'm just saying if it goes
Oh, you're
up
not.
to 100,
okay. If Tesla,
am.
hold on. If
No.
Tesla's going to, let's say, grow 30% and their stock gets knocked down to 250 billion, like you said, and then in 2024 they return to 50% plus, and that means that per share cost, as they also buy shares back as well, the free cash flow, the price per share, that goes up. It goes up a lot if you're growing
There's
50%.
two things you're assuming there. Number one, that they do the buyback, and I'll give you that.
You got
Number
the
two,
buyback. I'm not
that
actually
they
betting
can-
on that.
okay, so
and the
then
buyback
they
could take
have,
over 2 years to.
so they
to
have to
happen.
get 50% growth year over year.
I believe that is happening. Yes.
Yes.
I what if it's 35, which is still phenomenal, but what if it's not 50? Because
What-
it's just
what if-
more competitive.
But it was.
Like,
We've already seen that. It was 47, and they got absolutely hammered.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
gonna get-
47 is really close to 50. 35.
I know,
isn't.
but that the street doesn't care. It could be 49.8, and that's what they're gonna. The headline's gonna say Tesla misses.
Right. So what if it's 35 instead of 50? You
Miss-
guys think you're just,
that means
Vitaly, no, I'm serious. What if it's 35 and it's not 50?
no. If it is, that means
But-
they stay at the PE of roughly 30 to 40. That's what it means. Because remember we talked about this, that the PEG ratio and all this, and the PE. So if they stay between 30 and 40 and they don't go up higher, that means the way the stock appreciates is just by increasing the price per share, the free cash flow, and that'll be at a slower pace than the 50% we're expecting. So
That
we're not
4x
gonna,
is not happening in 1 year. So I don't know where
It's
the hell you
that's
got
not-
that from. That's not
I
going to happen.
agree, but I don't agree with you on that. It's not going to be 50% compounded moving forward. I think 2023 might be that odd year, maybe 2024, because we're in this time period that we have to correct inflation. And
that's the big thing. That's
the
the big
policy-
catalyst that I don't
yeah,
think
I agree
people are
with you.
talking
They
about.
can
Yeah.
totally tank. But remember, as it tanks right now, it's at a forward PE of 35 or 36, somewhere around there.
37. Yep.
Remember, and so if they're growing even right now at around 40, 45, 47% compounded, they're already under what they should be valued if you're following the Peter Lynch model. Now, Wall Street assuming it'll continue down in 2023, so we are going to get to that 35, 30. That's why they're being projected this way. And that might happen in 2023. But I am not that bearish that I'm saying 2025 to 2030 is not going to, once again, EV adoption. We're talking about EV adoption. And I think me and Carlos had covered in our last video. That's not
this last one. Yeah.
But when it does come out, it's going to be beautiful. So,
what? Oh, yeah. Cybertruck already has over 1 million pre-orders. I think the current backlog of Teslas is over 200, 300,000 cars. I don't know if that's US or worldwide.
Which one? 1 million, right?
Cybertruck is, I think, over 1 million. It might be, I don't know, maybe over 2 million. It was that Reddit sub that we were reading. Like, you got to say that's coming out. They're making progress on FSD. We're not even talking about like the bot or future robotaxis.
Yeah, but let's not include the bot.
We're talking. No, I know, but I'm saying we're not including that. But this is on the horizon, and there's also. I think we were supposed to hear an announcement of where the next.
It's not on the horizon.
Okay, you guys.
Like, bro, FSD is not even on the horizon. Come on now, like FSD is not even.
This is a pure car energy thing, and Carlos, I think we covered it on the last video we did.
Yeah,
but it's 5% penetration of EVs right now. This is what's important. You're assuming that we're not going to be at 30% penetration by 2025 or 2030 even? What are you assuming here? I don't know what
I don't think 2025 all cars are going to be 30%. I
didn't say 100%.
I don't know. I don't even think it's 30%. I think 2030 we get closer to 30%. But guys, ICE vehicles are not going away that quickly.
Like 2030, we're not even going to be at 30%.
No, 2030, I'll give you that, but definitely not 2025. That's 2 years. That's less than 2 years.
I know, but the problem with S-curves is that they're exponential. So once we're past the threshold value,
it becomes a runaway train.
5%.
Yes, but Tesla has also already gone up 600% in
5
years. There's been some exponentiality already.
No, that's not how exponential curves work. They continue exponentially until
they flatten off. That's when it becomes a value stock.
But by the way,
paying a dividend.
We bought Google in 2000, which we didn't buy, but when Google came out in 2001, 2002 at $80, if we just held tight, we would have been okay because the exponential continued for 20 years. Do you know what I'm saying? And there were massive dips along the way, and Amazon too. And the thing is, they're all still in exponentials, by the way. They've actually not flattened out, even though they're 50% down now. Look at any of those charts. Go ahead, bring up an Amazon chart right now if you want to.
No, I get it. And look,
we did this on our last.
I agree.
Podcast.
If Tesla goes down to $80, I will buy the hell out of it. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just pushing back a little bit on this idea that it quickly goes back from a $300 billion company to a $900 billion.
I'm not saying quickly. I
just don't think it's gonna happen for some years.
5 years. It doesn't matter. Because the lower it goes, by the way, the multiple increases. So I think it's going to be $1 trillion company, by the way. That's still going to happen. If you're changing the world, any company that changes the world,
it's solving problems.
$20 billion. That's not how it works. Okay.
Well, here's the question. Here's the thing we haven't factored in. So Elon Musk has a $13 billion loan on Twitter that he has to pay back. Interest rates are now 4.5%. He's obviously been selling Tesla to get the equity to pay this back. Here's my question, transitioning to Twitter, but it relates to Tesla. How does Twitter make money? Because if they don't make money, Elon will sell more shares, which will drive down the price, at least in the short term.
I could see that happening.
I could see
so how do we think? Because I don't think this Twitter blue. I was convinced on it a couple weeks ago. I don't think that many people are going to buy this shit.
No, it's dumb. Totally dumb.
He's not going to make the billions of dollars at $8 at a time.
So you think it has to be advertising then, right?
Yeah, it has to be advertising. And Twitter's
how does he fix advertising? Because advertising sucks on Twitter in general, and now every advertiser hates what Twitter has become.
He sells it to the Middle East. Did you see? He's hanging out with again Qatar or whatever.
Yeah, Carlos, you haven't seen this picture. Let me show you that. He's hanging out with Trump.
Why do you think he's there? Why do you think he's there? He needs money for Twitter. Why do you think he's there? He's not there wasting time. Everybody's like, oh, he's just on vacation. He's not on vacation.
He's not on vacation.
Yeah.
Look at this. Jared Kushner, Trump, and a bunch of Arab princes. That's very racist of what I just said, but let's assume they are. Like these guys probably have $7 billion in between them, all right there.
Right.
He's trying to get some money.
There you go.
That's my headwear for the next podcast.
So do we think Twitter? Because look, if he can't climb himself out the Twitter hole, I think Tesla's fucked. Like, because he has to keep
If
selling.
he can't,
I mean,
if he can't,
if Twitter can't become profitable,
No, he's just going to let it go bankrupt at some point. That's what it's
wait, but
going to
then
do.
what happens
it
to
would
that
just end
13
up
billion
losing
loan
money.
if it goes bankrupt? Like, how does he have to sell 13 billion worth of Tesla?
Probably. Yeah.
It's like
So
getting
the market cap will
It's like
go
getting,
down by
it's,
13.
it's
No,
like
if you
getting
go bankrupt, if the company goes bankrupt, that's it. Those creditors lose out. The Tesla stock, unless he put it up, obviously. If he put that all up, then yes, he has to sell out. Absolutely.
From what I understand, he sold this last bit to get the interest payments from what was it, 1.3 billion to something like 800 or something million. The interest payments on the loan yearly.
Yeah, he made a big
basically
mistake.
lower what his
Big mistake. He
monthly
got
net is.
cocky. He got very cocky. He made a big mistake, and now he's going to suffer a $50 billion loss. Absolutely.
And not just he. I mean, all of his investors are going to suffer this loss with him. A lot of people are going to suffer this loss. So if Twitter goes bankrupt, that means a private equity firm, a PE firm is going to take it over. They're going to liquidate everything. He's going to be ousted, and then
Twitter, if that happens, and Twitter as a platform just may not exist.
No.
Or it's just going to be a shitty platform.
I think
somebody will
penny from the dollar, and that's what'll happen. Yeah. Maybe Elon. He'll buy it.
Parag
he'll buy it back.
To buy it back. Parag will spend 42 million and buy it back.
Right.
I mean, it looks like it should go bankrupt, honestly.
But do you think it will go bankrupt? Do you think it will go bankrupt?
You want to bring up the Twitter chart since this is a stock channel? Why don't you show how good Twitter has done in the last freaking 10 plus years on the market? Okay, and then look at Facebook chart. Everybody's a bear on Facebook, and everybody. You should look how they did.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg must be
I bought out their IPO, and like that money in Twitter
Mark Zuckerberg
sat there for years.
Chris isn't here, but Mark Zuckerberg, Twitter's going down. TikTok is going to be banned. He's going to be the only game in town. That's amazing.
With his goggles on.
Oh God.
So
let's talk about TikTok. Vitaly,
show the Twitter chart. If anyone hasn't seen the Twitter chart, you show the whole lifetime. The full thing. It IPO'd what at $40? I don't know. What did it IPO at? 37? I don't know, something like that.
It was around there, 30, 37. That's what Facebook.
And
around there.
And I think I watched the Compound and Friends. They talked about this as well. That Twitter has been like one of the worst performing stocks in the market.
It didn't perform at all. It just didn't do anything.
It stayed in
the money was just sitting there, like not even keeping up with inflation. So you actually lost money even if you had the same amount.
What would happen right now if it was public still? You know, what is it worth? Anyone take a guess?
Right now, I don't know, 15, 20. What would
10?
it be?
Probably 20. I would give it 20
right now.
20 billion
in this environment. Yeah,
I think 10. As soon as all the advertisers lost, I bet you anything would have crashed.
$10. Yeah,
all the advertisers left when they started leaving. Yeah,
this is Meta. Some Meta's there.
That's Lifetime.
Yeah,
no, that's not Lifetime.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's a little bit. It's so 17 IPO there, and then it goes up and up and up. There's Lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's not doing great either.
That's horrendous. But this is what we looked at in our last podcast. That was what happened to Amazon investors, and you lost 90% of your value. Like it wasn't this close to IPO, but that was really hard. But that company was changing the world, right? And eventually, Wall Street, all's forgiven. They got on board, and the money came back in.
Some guy wrote Twitter IPO price at $26. Yeah, it's probably underneath that if it was still public.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think Twitter can save themselves by making a TikTok clone? Do you think video is the savior for YouTube's the video clone is the savior? Like, how does gun to your head? If you were the CEO, how would you save Twitter right now if you had to stop it from going bankrupt? That's my question.
Save it.
Save it. How could you create engage? Like Twitter should theoretically have 1 billion people on it, right? Like Meta has 3 billion. Why can't Twitter get 1 billion?
There is a way. There is a way. I think people should be verified. Then they know more about you. Then the advertising is more important, and that means they could get more ad dollars, just like Facebook did. That was the smartest thing they did.
Okay, so
maybe create a version like YouTube where you can do it without ads, so you do somehow monetize those people. I also think that the secret to that would be content creators. I really think that it's not something that advertising alone. I think you'll be better off.
How do you think Twitter can get people to feel like YouTube is kind of like our home for content? How do you think Twitter can become a home for content creators and not just tweets while you're on the toilet? Like how does Elon?
I think they would need to offer like full long form video and offer something else. Like I don't know. if you have like your YouTube channel, you put up videos and stuff, but I'm sure there's sometimes that you just want to write like a nice long post. Have some place where some like almost like a shareholder letter, right? Like I'm sure in your company you might want to write something where you talk to just everyone, or a thesis, or a mission statement, or sometimes it's a thought that's better said written.
Almost like an article platform on like medium.com, kind of something like that.
But still connected like to your
Reddit,
profile in a way that you can.
Like Reddit, like they should do something like that. Like I go to a Mid's page on Twitter. It should be whatever he wants to post. The modern
right, not necessarily
right. The modern blog, basically,
like your own like Reddit feed, because I do feel like Reddit is great for some of that stuff, and actually Reddit's pretty good for engagement too. Surprisingly, even though a lot of that can be anonymous, right? Usually, the more anonymous the people are on the platform, the more bold and outrageous that they are. But Reddit's
Reddit got. Well, I looked at their stats the other day. Reddit has 1.7 billion monthly active hits to the website, and it's like, like I don't use Reddit. I don't get it. I mean, sometimes I get it, but. Like, do you guys actually use that? Do you like spend time on it meaningfully?
Occasionally, yeah.
And do you think you get a better experience than Twitter from it?
Oh yeah. I mean, in terms of engagement, I think I stay longer. Twitter, it moves fast, right? So you never really, besides like tweeting a fast, silly response, like mostly hate, then moving on. It doesn't have the same thing Reddit has, where you actually stick in the thread for a while if it's a long thread, you know?
Yeah.
Twitter is like passing like in an office, like passing someone in the hallway, but like Reddit is like seeing them at a holiday party, right? Or after work drinks. It just feels a little bit more intimate and engaged. But it's not to say that you can't get that, and Twitter doesn't necessarily have to become that. I think even as simple as offering like offering long form video and other ways that a content creator can connect with their audience, and then offering Twitter as the background process, the background engine for monetizing your customers. Like instead of using Patreon or something, if you can do all of that, the payment within Twitter. I think it would, in other words, if you make it a platform that's super easy for content creators, they'll bring the people. Right. Because I mean, that's why Spotify paid the money to Joe Rogan, because he just brings the people. So it's the same idea. Just really incentivize the content creators to create good content. And then you still have to allow like all opinions, all voices. But I think what he said was freedom of speech, not freedom of reach. I really think that sums it up. You don't have to go and amplify people. You can say whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that we have to go push it out there. And I think if you make it really simple for viewers to curate their own feed and eliminate certain things that they don't want to hear, I really think that it's just kind of as simple as that.
Well, let's transition to TikTok while we're also talking about Elon, because Vitaly, you probably didn't see this because you were out all day, but this was the violation policy note. They said, now again, this policy is gone, but these were the prohibited platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Truth Social, Tribal, Post, and whatever the other one is. These are the things you couldn't like say, hey, follow me on. Why do you think they didn't include TikTok on this?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question.
Does it have anything to do with Elon's relationship with China and realizing that Tesla would collapse if Chinese sales, which are already getting pretty beaten up by BYD because they're doing a pretty phenomenal job in China. If the Chinese government just said, Tesla, we don't like going against our biggest social media product. I mean, yeah, it sounds
exactly what you're saying. I do agree with you. Because Elon is a public voice for free speech only in America. Let's face it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
He's never said anything negative about the Chinese, and there's a good reason.
Yeah, he can't.
Yeah,
he can't say shit.
Gonna fly at all. Yeah,
as a shareholder, I don't want him to say shit about China either.
Absolutely not. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But that very policy is what Facebook implemented when they realized that they were basically giving free promotion to YouTube. We discussed this at a couple of years ago. I knew several people that had channels that were doing really well. And when that policy came out, it really diluted the views because no one could find their video from YouTube on Facebook because the view was going to Facebook. That's
what I was saying. All platforms kind of do it. Twitter was just stupid in how they communicated it today.
It was totally
everyone.
But ultimately it is what it is. Like if Facebook would not be where it is today if they didn't do that and just rip the Band-Aid off, deal with the heat, and then guess what? A few years later, nobody even remembers anymore. Like no one talks about that anymore.
The problem is though, Facebook is a place to connect. Twitter is like your self-promotion platform. That's why it's hard to say Twitter should be a really, really big company, because people just use it as like it could be a big company, but it can't be a $350 billion, $1 trillion company because it's not a place that's meant to keep you on the platform. It's a place to get you to discover a song, a podcast, and then you leave, and then you come back later, right? Like
that's what it's been historically, but that doesn't mean that that's what it.
But that's what it's always going to be. But unless you're in a little flame war with somebody, Twitter is not going to become.
Well, yeah, I think the reason I like Twitter and the reason it won't be as successful as Instagram or Facebook is because I like dealing with people I don't know, and having a conversation, if it's for 5 seconds, right? Yeah. That's what I like about it. Facebook wins this war because they started with friends and family, so their network got built out really fast, and Twitter doesn't have that way. Because, for example, like if I post something on Twitter, I'm not going to go share it with my 10 friends to go check that out and start to get integrated into it. That's not how it works. So I don't think it'll ever be as big as Instagram or Facebook. I just think it's not a great business, and Elon got himself basically a shitty business, and he can rationalize it all he wants with this public town square nonsense, but not a great business that he's in.
The market cap of Meta is 300 billion. So Twitter was bought out for 44 billion, about 1/5 of what Meta's worth right now, and it does not offer nearly that much value.
And maybe Mark will end up buying it for like 10 billion.
Who knows? Yeah, he might pull an Apple and buy it and just cancel it.
He can't. No one's going
to. I know.
Okay, so if TikTok gets banned, which is becoming a little bit more likely after a bunch of Marco Rubio
doesn't show that,
right? But be clear, like when you say ban, it just means that certain states have banned it from the employees' government issued phones.
It's more than that now. Schools.
No, this is deeper. They put out legislation. It's not been voted on yet, but this is a national TikTok ban. Like this is like it's gone.
This is what Rubio and what are they saying?
Rubio and Mike Gallagher. So it's not just for government officials. This is to get it off the fucking country.
I have to say, like, and I'm the free speech guy. I agree with that. This is cyber warfare. Like this is not cool.
Yeah.
That China can get this kind of information. We talked about it last podcast.
About our stupidest people.
Say what?
About our stupidest people on TikTok.
I know. It's not like it's necessarily our best and brightest, but it kind of becomes like LinkedIn at a certain point. If you're in a certain industry, it just becomes like it's par for the course. You just have to have it. I don't think this. I think this is bad news. This was bad news to not just copy it and bury it, right? Whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, or whether it's Twitter, copy the platform, get everyone to move over to it and be done with it.
All right, can I show you something? Let me just show you.
Yes.
All right, share screen. Boom, 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 boom.
Let me read some comments here.
Okay, do you see this?
No. Did you share it? Oh, I see it now.
Okay, so this is our Discord, people. Come and join us. It's a plug.
It's $1 a month, right?
No, that's gone. It's $5 now, and
it's free. First, the Discord is free, but if you want to support us because you love us and we're not racist, if that's why you want to support us.
Call him Chamas Polly Poopy Toppy, like
right. So if you want to support us for some race training,
because internet trolls are everywhere. I should not joke about this. Okay, so let me bring this up. That actually Chris posted this, and he's active on our Discord because his Discord sucks. Auburn, this is a college apparently, and he posts a lot of stuff. Auburn blocks TikTok on university phones, dorm Wi-Fi, on all the Wi-Fi, the public Wi-Fi at the school, as state ban takes effect. So Auburn University, I'm not saying this is widespread yet, but that's kind of amazing that this is happening. That Chris has actually been saying that this is going to happen. And I was like, I don't really think this is going to happen. Like, it's going to take a long time to play out. And he's just been article after article showing government agencies, now schools. It might actually happen next year, 2023. That's the prediction now.
If it does, Meta's going not to the moon.
They're going to the moon.
They're going somewhere better than the moon. If
so my call for 2025, you watch those calls. Everybody called me a freaking idiot. And your podcast probably because I saw those comments. So it's going to the moon, and I will enjoy my boat. So F you. All
right. Matthew said government would let Facebook to buy Twitter to make the monopoly. I think he meant government would not let Facebook.
No, they're definitely not going to let them happen. But I think Twitter's going bankrupt anyway. So
Twitter's going bankrupt anyway.
And if TikTok's gone, there's no other game in town, right? What is it? Google will come back with Google. What is it called?
Google whatever.
No, it was Google Plus, right? Wasn't it?
Google Plus. Yeah, we're all going to be at Google Plus,
Wasn't it?
guys.
Wow, it's crazy. I even forgot the name of it. Like that's
Yeah.
how whack
That's
that was.
okay,
They forced
let me-
us to sign up for that.
Let me put up this article. I haven't told you guys I was going to share this.
Oh, yeah. Put a Discord link. Someone says, Vitaly, people want your Discord link. Put in the.
Put it in the chat right now. Someone, one of you. All right.
You want to put it in,
all right.
Carlos? Or should I do it?
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Put it in. So he's sexist, racist. What else? What other is and ism can we just pile on?
I don't like anybody. Bro. I like the color green. That's all.
Yeah. Exactly. That's all I care about. There is a bear case for Meta that has recently come out, by the way, and that's Carmack. Yeah. So Carmack, who's an OG game developer, has quit Meta, and that was actually we didn't discuss this at all at length, but that was part of my bull case because he created Doom and a bunch of other company and a bunch of other software. id Software. I don't know if you guys remember in the 90s, even started in the 80s, whatever. He created all that stuff, and so he's a great technologist, and I thought he would be the savior of like the Oculus. So now I actually have to process, is my bull case now like sort of really damaged because Carmack has left the building and he's doing something else because Meta apparently moves too slow, in his words. So I did not like that. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, but
wonder where he's going though.
The metaverse shit doesn't even matter. Like, I'm not buying Facebook for that. Like, fuck Carmack. Like, go ahead, leave.
Yeah,
like,
but that's a big part.
That's his name, John.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I am not. I don't think this.
Well, you're a bear.
metaverse
I
thing is
mean,
gonna be,
it's like
metaverse thing is
you
not
just
going to be
more bear stuff. Huh? You just got an extra bear thing. You know what I mean? Like you were already a bear, you got an extra bear thing
on Facebook.
Why does
because
it matter? Meta's spending the most on the metaverse, and even if the metaverse doesn't happen, it's still a good 2-3 bagger. Like, why does it matter if Carmack?
Yeah. But I'm not investing in Meta for the 2-3x. I mean, that's great. I might keep it for that reason, but honestly, I'd just rather have then more Tesla, more Enphase, or a couple of other stocks that I've been buying. The reason I think Meta's so valuable in the future, because if their asymmetric bet on the metaverse works out, right? If that actually works out, then it's a 10 bagger. It's not a 2 bagger, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. All right, Chris said he's going to join. I think we have like another 20 minutes when Chris comes. I sent the Discord link to you for your thing as well.
I posted on the YouTube chat.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here's a this might be a case to buy Google. And the reason this is a case to buy Google is because it seems like traditional media is having a hard time. Avatar: The Way of the Martyr opens to 134 million, just missing expectations. This is a film that needs to make, I think, about 1.5 billion right? to break even. Right.
Something like that. Yeah.
What are your?
This could be this generation of like Waterworld. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was like Waterworld was like that first movie that was just to spend incredible amounts of money and like nobody watched it. This could be this generation's version of that.
So
did you watch it? My question is, did you watch it? And if you didn't and you don't care too much about it, does it prove that user-generated content platforms are really the places to bet on?
No, he spent too much money. It has nothing to do with that. I would absolutely go watch this, and I am during the Christmas break with the kids and all that. So I'm going to watch it. But the problem is when you spend $1.5 billion, that's like he just made it harder for him to make it back. That's all he did. And he will.
I will probably go watch it as well, or catch it when it's out of theaters. But I think it goes back to this conversation we had months ago about Netflix. I just think that there's only so much attention time. Like we said, Elon has 12 hours a day to work, right? So everyone's got a certain amount of waking hours, and I think it's increasingly hard for people to find the 2.5 hours or whatever, in addition to the travel time in movies.
It's a 3-hour commitment, bro. I don't know if I can give 3 hours to.
I don't know, dude. Everybody who has kids will see that movie, 100% guaranteed during the break or in January. It's going to happen. They're actually going to make their money back on DVD and selling it everywhere. It's going to happen. But the point is, he spent too much money on actually making the film over 10 years now? It's been like a decade, right?
Yeah.
Guys.
Chris, where are you at? Why'd you leave us alone this week?
Nah, dude. I was actually at dinner with a friend. So, yeah.
Oh, I see what's important.
Damn, man. We all like rush to be here.
I'm leaving work.
These guys.
Shit, I gotta
get up early in the morning.
Yeah, but I still made it for the most of it. I actually was listening for the last 10 minutes. I was like, all right, I didn't want to interrupt.
Mommy and daddy are arguing again.
But then
What's the hold on? What'd you eat for dinner?
Pasta.
What'd you eat? Italian Alfredo pasta?
No, just regular like marinara.
Okay.
All right, everybody can turn off this fucking stream.
Why is that important?
I don't know.
Why is that important? Are you
Bro,
going
every time
somewhere
someone says
Is this the
they
SoFi
had dinner,
hour? Is this the SoFi hour we're doing here? Okay, so let's do the SoFi hour. Hold on.
did you think I had a personal loan? But no,
So-
bro, I get
hold on a minute. If Noto leaves, what do I do? That's really the question. If Noto leaves, what do I do?
Are you guys holding?
The bull case again. Oh yeah, they're going bankrupt. That's the bull case. Yeah. Okay.
guys. If someone says they had dinner, it's like OCD. I have to ask what they ate.
No.
Lunch, bread. Like I don't know why I have to ask, but I need to know what they
Stop.
ate.
Ask if he had sex with someone who had at dinner. That's
inappropriate. What did you have for dinner tonight, Vitaly?
Chinese food.
Okay, Carlos, what did you have? Did you have dinner yet, Carlos?
I have not dinner yet. Yeah, as soon as I'm done.
What are you
with
gonna
this,
eat? What are you gonna eat for dinner?
Probably pasta. I mean, like
This is the best podcast ever. Okay, so
probably-
Chris, here's the question: is Tesla dropping another 50%?
I don't know, dude. It's all going to depend on what the reaction of a lot of people who were considering buying Teslas is. We don't know what the PR ramifications are just yet. So I would say give it some time, but I do think eventually when Cybertruck and all these other initiatives come out, it could definitely boost them back up. So I would say keep a close eye on the numbers and see what kind of changes they can make. I think, like I said, right now it's all about PR. Like they have terrible PR behind them. There's a lot of people who are like anti Elon Musk now. And then on top of it, you've got pretty much a car Armageddon right now, which, by the way, Vitaly's right. If Tesla ends up surviving and they're like one of the few games left in town, which means a lot of people are going to be migrating over to them. We all know the future is EV, and there hasn't been too many car companies from anyone else that's nearly as good as a Tesla. Like anyone right now, if you say they're buying an EV, 9 out of 10 of those people are buying a Tesla, not a whatever the fuck is out there.
So yeah. So this is the thing that's funny that we know. Once again, I don't think Elon's doing the right thing with Twitter. But if you look at the reality of the situation, just as a person who needs to buy a new car and is deciding on an EV, you're like, okay, I have either a Tesla Model Y, a Model 3. I can have a Kia, right? There's an EV6. I can have a GM Bolt. I can have a Kona. There's a funny story about my wife giving her a Kona. She almost killed me. But you can have like a certain choice. You can have a Rivian, maybe, right? You can have a Lightning F-150. So you have like 10 cars to choose from that are sort of popular. But if you just go through like the benefits, meaning that Tesla has a charging network, right? They have the best software at this point, the best screens, the best driving. This is not even, I don't think people are debating that. So the people are saying who they won't buy a Tesla are just like shooting themselves in the foot. What are you going to buy? I don't know what they're going to buy. Like if you say I'm going to buy a Rivian instead, okay, fine. What happens when it breaks down? Where do you take it? You got to bring it back to Delaware? I don't know where you got to bring it.
There's also a lot of retooling costs that a lot of people are not expecting with the other manufacturers. So if you look at the entire supply chain, all the sales models, everything that's based on ICE infrastructure, right? You have to literally rip all of that stuff out and put new manufacturing lines, new stuff, new infrastructure, while you have a shit ton of debt that's built up over the last 50 years of making the stuff. On top of it, you've got union contracts that you can't get out of. Like you look at the American manufacturers like Ford and GM, look at the amount of expenses that they have in just employee costs and employee compensation. While Biden is still around,
the dealership network.
Right. While Biden is still around, I think they'll be fine because there's going to be a government put that if anything bad happens, the government will come in and bail them out just like they did in 2008, 2009.
So are you buying Tesla then, Chris?
No.
Right now?
No.
Why not?
I'm waiting for the fallout, the PR. I want to see what the numbers look like.
That's
right
crazy.
Now, even at these prices,
I mean, but okay, say it goes to $100. Is that low enough? Like at what point is it low enough for you?
Like I said, I'm gonna wait until the PR part comes out.
What do you mean by PR? What do you mean by PR?
Because what happens? I think probably Q2, Q3. Because like I said, I would say demand right now is falling off, not just for Tesla, but for a lot of EVs, right? That's one thing.
Apparently, Vitaly and Carlos don't agree with that. I said demand's going to go down. They're like, no, it'll be fine.
No,
I mean,
this is pushing people to.
No, even if it, once again, I go back to 2023 doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for the bull case of Tesla. So who cares if it goes down in the interim? And you're right, there's an apocalypse. What Chris said in the beginning is what I said, that we want this to actually go down, by the way, the whole thing. If you're a long-term minded investor, you want to buy a Tesla at $100. That's what you want, because nobody else survives. And I think I saw a comment going by about someone saying 2023, more cars, different cars are going to be coming out, new models, basically. So if there's a big recession, do you think those plans are going to go into effect in 2023? The old manufacturers are going to scale back. They're not going to push forward.
Well, that's
the people who are going to push forward are people like Tesla and Rivian. That's it.
That's the thing. I've seen a lot of industries where during bad times, people can get lean very easily. Like, here's a good example. Like Ford
is going to get lean very easily.
Yeah, like that's exactly what happened in 2008. Ford was the one company that did not take a single bailout from the federal government. What did they do? They ended up leveraging everything that they had. They got Alan Mulally from Boeing at the time and literally restructured the entire company and ended up becoming way more profitable right after that. So I would say don't count out a lot of these manufacturers just yet. All I'm saying is right now, a wait and see approach may not be a bad idea.
The difference is in 2008. In 2008, there was a different environment around selling cars. They didn't have a company like Tesla coming in and essentially eating their lunch. These legacy auto companies require sales from ICE vehicles to fund the transition to EVs. They're not making money on these EVs. So this is a different time than it was in 2008. I don't know that they can continue to restructure these companies forever.
But that's also a point where can they successfully restructure themselves into being EV manufacturers?
Okay.
And if anything, even
you're saying can these companies turn from like making mechanical products to basically making software?
Well,
I don't know.
It's not only that, but remember, if they're able to successfully retool and end up becoming successful EV manufacturers, they'll push the margins down on Tesla, right? If you're creating a competitive environment where there wasn't one before, that means the Tesla is going to have some level of margin compression. So all I'm saying is right now is a good time to wait and see. Right now, Tesla's margins are a good time
not to buy in dollar cost average. It's a good wait and see if you're going to dollar cost average. And
right, it's weird. It's weird.
We're getting sidetracked. I just want to point out, you're comparing Tesla like it's just another car company. And I always fall for the same thing. I always fall into that trap that Chris is. I forget that he's a bear who thinks it's a car company. I keep forgetting that. When in reality, let's say even the car business stays that it is and they're just growing 30%, like you said, Amit. Do you think they're an energy business too? The fact that they're growing at basically 50% compounded in terms of their mega packs and all this, the solar, I think they've slowed down a bit right now, and they're probably going to ramp it back up. But you don't think that's a whole business growing itself like over the next decade? Like, you basically have two massive businesses growing in one company right now.
Well, first of all, I don't think that Tesla is just a car company. I think they are an EV infrastructure company, but
I think it's an energy company.
Right.
No, but how would you define them if they're not just a car company?
I would say they're actually a conglomerate. If you think about it, the business structure is very conglomerated. They have a solar division, they have a power, like a battery division that works independently. Then they have a charging network that's independent. Then they have insurance products that they're trying to get into. Then they're
making me bullish. You're making me
more
bullish.
They are trying to be a well-diversified conglomerate, which, believe it or not, I think that they could eventually be the most valuable
company in the world.
Right, but that doesn't mean that there
I just don't know if you really believe that, they could be the most valuable company in the world,
$2 trillion. That's what it means.
How would you?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Any company is going to. A lot of companies have the potential to be the greatest and best thing in the world. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll get there. 100%.
It's not going to be the best company in the world. I don't care what you say.
I know that, but I'm saying right now, the valuation is still relatively high compared to the risk that we're taking on, especially with Twitter. Like Elon right now, if Elon wasn't in this whole Twitter spat right now, First of all, I don't even think Tesla would have gone down to the 150 level that it is right now. All right, a lot of the stuff.
I absolutely think it would. Look at Rivian stock. Seriously, bring up a chart of Rivian stock the last 6 months.
Yeah,
Bring
but
up a chart of
Rivian-
Bring up a chart of Amazon stock the last 3 months. Rivian CEO and Amazon are not running Twitter right now. Yet those charts look exactly the same, like virtually exactly the same. Everything is coming down right now.
I mean,
I think we're being told that it's because of Twitter. And it's all the hate on Elon over Twitter, but it's not.
But
No,
Carlos,
no,
Rivian is not
because of
profitable.
Twitter.
Rivian is not profitable. It's not generating a net income.
It's not the point. The point is that this is not just a Tesla event.
No,
it's not just because then how did you justify Facebook being down 70% if they didn't have something like the Twitter overhead? Why are they down?
Well, because Mark is a lunatic and was spending all their money on the metaverse, which won't exist.
Okay, so you're saying that him spending $10 billion a quarter is more than what Elon is supposedly doing to Tesla investors right now? Just losing $10 billion on something that they don't think, that they're not even saying they don't think. They just say maybe the metaverse is too early. Maybe you're pushing too hard, Mark. But they're not saying you're a complete moron. Like, they're not saying that. And you're saying that's tanking the stock more than what we're hearing from Elon. It just doesn't make any sense.
No. What I'm saying is, I think Tesla still would have gone down, but not to the extent that it has gone down right now. Like right now, it's down what? What were the highs and what are they right now?
It's down 58%, or last time I checked, 60%.
Yeah, and that's
again, Meta's down 70% this year. It's like the worst performing stock of the year. Why?
But Meta has flatlined in its revenue. Tesla has only gone up 50% in revenue. Look at the difference. If you have a performing business that's
so it's because Facebook's Meta's considered a value stock and Tesla's considered a growth stock.
Absolutely. Based on the revenues right now, Meta is definitely a value stock. They have flatlined on their revenue. They're not growing nearly as much as they were even less than 3 years ago. And their operational expenses and their capital expenses have gone up tremendously. One of the biggest complaints that people had with Meta is not so much that, they're not performing as crazily as they were like 2-3 years ago. People could accept that. The problem is the amount of money that they're spending to stay flat. That's crazy. To say that your expenses have gone up 25-30%, but your revenue is flat, that's terrible. And that's one of the main criticisms that Brad something from Altimeter Capital had. And he wrote a really great letter saying, look, you overhired, you overdid it with the operational expenses. If you don't get this in line, there's going to be a lot of fallout. And that's what's happening right now with Meta. But, and I'm glad that we brought this up. Let me segue right into this. One of the things that I've been researching is all the cutbacks that Meta is doing right now. And let me tell you, they are cutting back like crazy.
11,000 jobs, wasn't it? 11,000.
And here's the thing. A lot of people are looking at really 11,000 jobs. It's not just the jobs. They've actually stopped investing in all these little side projects that they had going on, which were literally eating away their capital, and they kept having to hire people. Like they stopped with their I literally have like a list of things that they actually were like moonshotting that they stopped doing because now they realize that they're not going to be able to generate any revenue for it. One of them is they were trying to do smartwatches. They were trying to do health monitors. Then they had this thing called the Facebook portal. And then they had fast dating. I don't know if you saw that. They had like video dating.
No.
You're muted, Amit.
You're muted.
You muted yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say they still have dating because I swipe through it every night. So
Right.
Yeah.
He masturbates too.
And then they had this thing called neighborhoods, which was like an open door, not open door. This neighborhood thing.
Thanks for setting me up there.
One of the other ones, Facebook connectivity, where they were connecting the world to Facebook. They stopped all that. They cut back on all that. They even stopped investing a tremendous amount of money in data centers, and they said, put a hold to construction.
Data centers.
Data. You mean data? Because
I'm thinking about that.
bro, what? I want to go to a data center.
What a master data center.
No, I read that in like a redneck voice, like those data centers.
All right.
Okay, yeah, we got to end the pod, yeah. But Chris, we get your point.
I want to show something. Can I show it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Since nobody else has been, since nobody believes in buying stocks anymore, except me,
You're
What
still
are you
buying
talking
though,
about?
Vitaly?
I believe in buying. Yeah, that was
Hold on.
actually going to be my question for you guys.
Nobody
It's like
believes in
end of the year
buying
wrap up. I was like,
If you join our Discord, by the way, this is where we're tracking the trades, and I did make my first trade. We have to update the spreadsheet. I already did my part, but you guys have to update your part because it's not accurate yet. So
oh, you're
here
saying
we go.
to buy the right.
I bought my first 2 shares out of the 1,000 we each put in. I
Right.
bought 2 shares and kind of high apparently now. It's 100.
So Vitaly's already in margin. He's getting margin covers. His $1,000.
But
Bro, I fucking bought a share at 178 like 2 weeks ago. And I'm so mad.
Immediately
Just
tanked.
like
one share. Okay.
Ahmed's bringing that
Yeah.
Palantir luck to the Tesla side, bro.
Oh man.
So-
Don't be-
no,
When-
Palantir will probably be a multi-bagger better than Tesla, if things. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
Carlos's face is like,
I'm
I'm leaving the podcast.
No, because one day we have to have that talk. I feel like it's almost like an intervention. I don't know how much money you used to have left in there, but it's almost like friends don't let
Well,
friends
you're wrong on
invest in
Carlos.
Palantir.
You're wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong on
Well,
Palantir.
we've had several podcasts.
We have an episode coming out as soon as we edit it. It'll come
Yeah.
out, and basically, Palantir is one of those things we call sunk cost fallacy, and that's when you jump.
You're one of those people I would call dumb ass motherfucker. That's like if you don't get Palantir, that's on you. You're the dumbass for that. It's
Well,
not about
apparently
sunk
nobody-
costs.
We're the ones with the money. It's like being in a strip club. Like you're at a strip club. I have the money. It's up. Like you got to dance. Like Carp needs to dance. Okay.
Yeah.
I got the money. The stripper's not gonna come up to me and be like, "Well, you just
His shareholder letters is dancing. It's poetry.
Oh
It's, like,
man,
beautiful.
dance right though.
Anyway, let's not go off it. But I bought 2 shares.
I know.
Nobody else bought anything yet for the portfolio, right?
I mean, well, just hold on, from no, not yet, but from this price, Palantir at 7, Tesla at 150. Which one do you think is the quicker 10x?
Me,
Like
the Tesla.
no, Palantir $7 to $70 versus fucking Tesla 150 to 1500.
7 to 350, the fastest.
$350? Wow, that's
$3.50.
I'm telling you, he's gonna buy some Palantir puts.
First of all, no. Palantir hits around $3. I actually think it's worth around $3. I would buy some shares in the portfolio at $3.
What would the market cap be at $3?
like
Seven-
less than 10 billion? No, 8 billion. 8 billion is 7 billion because it's
and
14
it's
right
probably
now.
worth around there just based on some of the stats I looked at. So around
A
that.
company that's bringing in 2 billion in revenue is worth 7 billion.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, well then at that point, just on a technical,
Because Tesla being worth Tesla doing 21 billion in revenue is obviously worth 500 billion. That's just like that's no brainer.
Again, but that's okay.
Thank
I just
Okay.
you for joining us in the days of our lives.
yeah, seriously. This is becoming like a soap opera. This is a drama. I feel
good.
like we're on a like an earnings call and Chris is the CEO and we're like asking him questions. Doesn't it?
Like guys, we're investing in data centers right now, and we're trying to get
like,
the price
oh
up.
man, sell.
Master data centers.
Data centers. All right, everybody. 160 people here. Thank you guys for being here. Chris, thanks for joining at the end. Showed us you cared about us a little bit. We're out. This was a great pod. Any shout outs? Everyone's links in the description, so you can check us out. Their Discord is also on their channel. It's also in the comments. So you guys can join the Discord.
Yes.
And happy holidays. Next Sunday, are we doing a pod? When's the next Sunday? It's the
Next
25th.
Sunday is-
Probably
that's
not.
Christmas
Not on Christmas
Day.
Yeah,
Probably
not doing.
not.
I will do a pod on my channel. I'm starting another pod, but
Maybe we do the day before or we do Friday. You know why? Because I did want to do like a 2022 year in review and then look ahead.
we should do
as
one of
to
those. We should
what
definitely
we're
do one of
looking
those.
at.
Yeah.
What did you how was your year? Like literally, how was
Yeah.
your year? State of the Union, investing wise. What was the, your biggest triumphs, biggest failures? What surprised you? What didn't? And then what are you taking into 2023 besides just a lot of red?
That's a great
blood
idea.
and,
We should do that, I think, on Christmas Eve if you guys are down.
I
I
think
mean,
the
like, maybe
question-
like 7 p.m. early.
I think
Chris,
the
go ahead.
question is, are we
we
going
do like a seance and try to bring in the Santa rally.
I think dinner
Get
time
like
is
a Ouija
for a lot
board.
of people. It should be later, 9, 10 o'clock. I think that's what it should
Okay,
What do you think?
Chris, what were
Friday?
you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I am starting to see a lot of indications that we're probably headed into a really bad 2023. So hopefully we can
I agree.
that, man.
Oh, you know what? I didn't share this. I didn't share one other thing. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what she said.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me just make sure I got it up already.
Did you guys see the fucking Philly Fed came out and said, "Hey, listen, sorry, there weren't a million job additions. There were actually only 10,000." I was like,
Yeah,
how do you get that fucking bad?
How are you that off?
bro.
Yeah.
From May to June, apparently there weren't a million. There were 10,000 job additions. Like it was.
All right,
but
so-
it's.
Let me
You
just show
shared
it.
it. Okay, here it is.
So once again, I'm not a macro expert, but this has been going around and people have been talking about it, that whenever the Fed pivots, so if you see the Fed funds rate as this blue line right here, right? So
Yeah.
whenever they actually stop and they pause and then they pivot, you can see the market usually continues going down. This is the S&P. So it doesn't mean every stock goes down, obviously. Same thing happened right here. If you could see, here's the peak, and then they pivot. And it keeps going down until they basically, it's almost at the bottom. And it even happened here. It's a little bit harder to see, but let me show you the last time that, I was definitely not paying attention to this as much as I am now. But basically, when this correction happened in 2020, right? You can see that when we started to crash, the PED immediately went to zero. Do you see this?
Yeah.
And that was when they went immediately to zero, that's when the market took off. And if we understood that back in the day, we might have been made way more money, by the way. So something similar can happen. We are not yet at this plateau. So just remember that. We're not yet at this plateau. So 2023, to Chris's point, might be pretty shitty, at least for the first 6 months, I'm thinking. So we're not even there at the pause yet, besides the fact that we need to get back down to a lower rate. So people can look at this on TradingView or somewhere and study it to see if it makes sense to them. But it looks like we're in for a rough time in 2023.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah.
No
Christmas
thoughts?
Eve. I think we should do something. We'll talk more about it.
All right, no
Right,
thought.
thanks for ending on that high note, Vitaly.
Yeah, I'm so thankful. It's so beautiful.
You nailed
Starting
it.
a Monday off.
We're
Perfectly.
talking about Christmas, and he's like, "Yo, by the way, it's gonna be a shitty year."
Yeah.
Wait, when do you?
Have a
Enjoy
good,
the rally
have a
in
good Las
Christmas,
Vegas.
if it happens. Enjoy the rally, sell the tops, and wait it out.
Do you guys work the whole week, or do you end a little early this week in terms of days worked?
I'm
I
done
end
after
tomorrow.
this
Tomorrow's my last day.
Tomorrow's the last day of work. Okay, gotcha. All right, cool.
Yep.
Good stuff, guys. See you guys Christmas Eve. Bye bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Friday. Bye.